today, when you walk out the door, what we want to have happen is that we've given you a greater belief in who Team Beachbody is. We want to increase your understanding as to who we are, about what we do, and about the opportunity that exists to transform your life physically, emotionally, financially. And then at the end, also that we will give you tools that can help you execute on that. And hopefully, if this works, is that at the end of the day, you will walk out the door having made a decision about what you're going to do in your business. And I recognize that many of you already have successful businesses, that you've taken it, maybe you're just an emerald coach, maybe you're brand new, maybe you're at the diamond level, striving to move, to the next level. But whatever it is, when you walk out the door today, what we hope, our encouragement, our challenge, our purpose for being here, is that we will have given you enough to say, I'm ready to make a decision, and I will make a decision to do something more than I'm doing right now. Because if you don't do that, then the time that we spent together has been nice, but not leveraged like it could be or like it should be. Okay? I will tell you right now that our purpose is to grow this business. Not to grow the business because we want to create profits or get huge or anything like that. We're about ending the trend of obesity in America. We're about creating a healthier world. And you are who we rely on to help carry out that mission. By touching people's lives that you care for, that you come into contact with, that you form relationships, literally across the world. They may be across the street, maybe across the country, maybe across the world. But it won't happen unless you make a decision and then act on it. Nothing happens until a decision is made. So, discipline. Okay? At the end of the day, you're going to have to be disciplined in the approach that you take on this. Okay, now, and today we're going to talk about the game plan. We're going to just a few minutes before we jump into the specific game plan training, but I want to set something up. I'm a huge believer in the power of principles. Because, and if we understand principles behind business and behind success, then once we get to the activities, we can connect the principle with the activity. And the activity makes sense. And if you understand that principle, you can say, well, I'm doing this activity. Why the heck am I doing this? Or am I getting the kind of results I want to get out of this activity? If you understand what the principle is, you can always go back to that and then refine the activity so you get the kind of results you want. So what we're going to do here is I am going to have you participating in some teaching here in just a moment. How many of you know what the law of the harvest is? Have any of you ever heard the law of the harvest? Someone shout out, what's the law of the harvest?
Reap what you sow.
You reap what you sow. I think that's familiar to most people. You reap what you sow. Okay? And so we're going to talk about sowing a little bit today, but what I want to start with is a video that's about 6 minutes long. It's the most riveting video that you will ever watch in your entire life. It's about a potato farmer growing potatoes. Now, I know that you're all on the edges of your seats, going, wow, Jeff, way to get us started off, in a great, excited way. This is a phenomenal video. And the reason it's phenomenal is, here's what happened. This was shot by Covey Leadership Center way back when. And they were struggling with the concept of how do principles work. And one of the guys there had an uncle, a guy by the name of Grant Nybar, who was a multi-millionaire who'd been extremely successful in the potato growing business. Most of us wouldn't choose that as a profession, but he did. He's become extremely successful there. And so they went up onto his farm and sat down, went out in the field with him. He said, Grant, talk to us about growing potatoes. How do you grow jumpsuit with the jumpsuit logo wearing all It's in the pipeline. It's coming in the baby blue like that. It's comfortable, stretching, so it's coming. Okay?
Bring it to the farm.
Bring it. There you go. So, what in the world does potato farming have to do with growing a successful Team Beachbody business? So, everything. So, I'm going to tell you my ground. Well, I'll tell you my ground rules in a minute. But here's how I do this. Alethea, why don't you come and help? Why don't you do that with this video, please? Alethea, Jael, do you want to come help with this? Here's my rule as we do this, is that we're going to gather maybe 10, 15 comments, and each comment has to become more profound than the last. So the very last person, there's a deal on the bottom. So the very last person that we're going to call on, I mean, people are going to be waiting for that, yearning for that. They're going to be ready to walk on coals. They'll be in tears one moment. So it's going to be good, right? So that's what we're expecting. Okay, so now, who said everything? Right here. So here's what I'd like. Just give me kind of the quick snippet that you heard and an example of how it applies to the business. See, you're easy because you're first. It doesn't even have to be good.
Absolutely everything that he said, you can apply it to business. From when he started speaking to the end.
Give me one example, a snippet.
The effort that you put into it, don't cut corners. You would get it. All the hard work that you put into the end, it's going to come out. It's going to come out top.
Yeah, one of the things that he repeats, thank you. One of the things that he talks about 3 or 4 times in this whole video is there's no shortcuts. You know, you can't plant a potato seed, okay, and then hurry it up so that it will be ready. You can nourish it, you can fertilize it, you can do things that are good, but you can't make that seed grow this big in a week so that it's a premium potato. And just like our business, there's a nurturing process. So as you start to plant the seeds, really there are no shortcuts. There are some efficiencies and things we can do to become more effective and better, but just a minute, no one can hear you. So,
in my opinion, the nurturing part is the best part because that's when you make the connections with the people and that's when they give you the ability to continue to do it again.
Yeah, good. Thank you. Let me express that. Well, no, it doesn't like it be fine. Okay, next, who has it? Okay, we're just going to kind of work with it. Everyone wants to be first. Okay, I'll back you. Everyone wants to be first because that last one's going to be great. The standing ovation. Go ahead. Tell us your name.
Army Mike.
Army Mike. Okay. You can stand up so people can recognize you.
I took it as each potato as being a new customer or as being a new coach that you want to help build them, give everything you can to them, give all of your effort towards them to give them the best results possible.
Okay, good. So each potato, give individual attention to that. Okay? And, you know, one of the things he said, and someone will probably raise this, and you can still repeat this, but this is a person-to-person business. Okay? It might be long distance, but the reality is we're talking about people. We're not talking about numbers. We're not talking about anything else. We're talking about individuals, people's lives. Okay, back to the whole Team Beachbody business. I mean, but it's all about leadership. It's someone stepping up because someone else needs to be implicating that. One other thought on that. When we talk about, there's a bit of a competition. There's a brotherhood, yet there's a competition. And sometimes people get all caught up and tangled in the concept that, well, you know what, I'm not in Julie's, group. I'm not in her organization, or I'm not in Army Monics, or I'm not in, Amy's or Tommy's, or whoever's that might be. Competition is a great thing. There's a story about a corn grower in Kansas, and there's a competition. They want their product sold. But what he would do is he would share what he was doing to get a premium crop, because he knew that if he shared with his competitors, that what they would do is then develop a better crop, and then they could crossbreed, and then they could make it better, and they could make it better, and they could make it better. He brought this abundance mentality to competition. So competition, is a healthy thing. It's a good thing. But
ground, the soil is ready for the seed and for the potatoes to grow, right? Well, that's the same thing with us. We need to go in there and prepare the ground. It might take some time. We might not get anything at first, but then all of a sudden when those seeds start growing, and we got 3 weeks to pull out those potatoes, so those are already growing. There's also other other substances like the seasons and all that. There's things that we're not going to be able to control about all those aspects too.
Yeah, you threw out a bunch of things there. But one of them was this idea, you plant the seeds and it takes 3 or 4 years to grow a premium crop. If any of you have read the book Outliers, some of you are nodding your head and you know what it is. There's an interesting piece in that book. It's called the 10,000-hour rule. And the 10,000-hour rule is they studied all of these people that have become extremely proficient, really, really good, the top of the class. One of the common elements is that these individuals, the time that they put in, there was a definite time for the people that were good to the point where people were like the virtuosos great. And that 10,000-hour mark was like the tipping point. I'm using Malcolm, 2 of his books, The Tipping Point and The Outliers. I wrote both of those. But it takes time to build a quality business. In Idaho, when I lived in Idaho, right across the street from where I lived, there were potato fields. And we lived just out of town a little bit, and there were potato fields. It was interesting to watch what they did. They built what they call rotation crops. Because a wheat crop may not be as profitable as the potato crop, but they know that as